All right, 6:15 just about, and it's, it's already coming down
can
out
hear it
there,
now.
and it's
Half hour ago you couldn't.
Right.
Now you can.
Yep.
And we'll be hearing it pretty much all day. This is going to be one
Oy,
of those
oy, oy.
really wet ones, unfortunately. At least it's not ice, and there's going to be very little snow out of it, so it won't be a huge travel impact like we had over the weekend, but still, it's going to rain all day long. And this plume of moisture originates down in the Gulf of Mexico. Let me get your bearings here. This is the panhandle of Florida, Panama City. And then here's the peninsula of Florida. There's Tampa Bay and Daytona Beach, Fort Pierce over here on the east side. And the Gulf of Mexico is now opening up, and the humidity is starting to get a little bit higher now that we're getting into the spring months. A couple of months ago it wasn't as bad, but now we're getting into severe weather season. They've already had a series of severe thunderstorms and hail and tornadoes and that kind of thing. So all of this moisture is working up the eastern seaboard, and it is arriving now over the state of Maine, starting to pick up in intensity out there too, with some yellows working in. That's some of the heavier rainfall when you see the yellow on the radar. We also have some dense areas of fog, and you can make out where there's snow on the ground and where there isn't. Along the coast, we got snow over the weekend, but it melted yesterday, and the visibility is a lot better here than it is over the interior where there's still snow on the ground. Now we're chewing it up fast. It's going to disappear by the end of this storm probably in many spots, but it's producing some really dense fog. In Bangor right now at the airport, 1/4 mile visibility. That's it. So that'll impact your commute a little bit. Temps are around 40 all the way up to the Canadian border and across the far north too. So again, no icing concerns at all. There may be some wet flakes tomorrow, but that wouldn't produce, like a glaze of ice, no power outages or anything like that. Low pressure is developing right here, and it's going to be ever so slow to work its way through the northeast. In fact, some of us will be impacted by this even into very early Saturday morning. Now that'll be extreme eastern Maine and northern Maine. The rest of us will see it taper off tomorrow, but we've got 24 more hours of rainfall here. There's the rain pushing in for the morning drive, areas of dense fog. Above freezing though, no ice. Midday, steady rain for the southern half of the state. Northern half, you have spotty showers. Temperatures at least are in the 40s too. It's not like 30s in rain and wind, so it's not necessarily raw, but it isn't necessarily warm rain either. It's a little better than what we had over the weekend. And then as we get to the end of the day, no change. Rain, a few downpours in there, a slow commute probably with hydroplaning, quite a bit of road spray. This continues through the night as well, at which point some cold air gets into the tail end of this, and we flip over to some wet flakes up in the mountains, maybe get a couple of inches. Some wet flakes tomorrow up north, maybe get a couple of inches. Wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple of wet flakes splatting on some windshields tomorrow, say early in the morning in Bangor or in eastern Maine too. Now, this is noon tomorrow. It's steady precip over the east, but to the west it's tapering off, and it'll be more lighter, a lot lighter, and spottier too. And then by early Saturday morning, it's all gone, and we are getting into some sunshine, and the weekend actually looks pretty good, especially Saturday right now. Mostly sunny, breezy, but highs around 50. This system dives south of us on Easter Sunday. We'll start out with clouds, develop some sun, then we get a couple more quiet days before the next storm rolls in. Middle of next week could be stormy as well, with more rain and perhaps some wet snow. Now, the heaviest rain from this storm system will be in Washington County, where there could be as much as 4 inches. So that's our greatest flood concerns out there for some rivers and streams. Elsewhere, it's drainage flooding, and we'll keep an eye on the rivers and streams, but they're probably going to be okay from this one. It's going to be close, though, because we got some snow melt going in there, too. Gale watches, seas 5 to 6, north winds 5 to 10. Rain all day, highs in the 40s. Rain will slowly taper off tomorrow, may end up some wet flakes up north in the 40s. Saturday, sun returns, breezy, 45 to 50. A little brisk on Sunday. We'll start out with some clouds, but the rest of the day looks real good. Monday, beautiful, mostly sunny, upper 40s, and then the next storm works its way in for the middle of next week. And, it wouldn't be shocking if we see some accumulating spring snow out of that in somewhere in the state. I'm not saying it's going to be everywhere, but, we aren't out of the woods yet. I'll leave it at that.
Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, it happens every year.
You just made this happen because everyone else was talking about early spring and you didn't want to commit, didn't you?
Well, I just know better. And everybody else should too.
Yeah.
We live in Maine.
You're right.
All right, sir. Thank you.